Hey guys, this is going to be a short video about the new Analogue Duo that I just received. This isn't going to be a review or anything really like that. This is going to kind of be me just doing a stream of consciousness thoughts on this new system, and particularly as it compares to my PC Engine Duo RX that I had modded several years ago. Here on the left, I got this from a guy in Japan who replaced all the capacitors and made it so that you can use a component video cable in 240p to output. He did a region mod on the Hue card so you could play Japanese or American games by flipping that switch. This system has kind of been my go-to system, and I've been collecting old systems for a long time. As you get older, sometimes you need to downsize things in life, and I've done that several times. And the one system, though, that I've never really been able to get rid of or wanted to get rid of has been the PC Engine. It's probably my favorite retro game system, and so I have been most excited in recent years for this particular system ever since it was announced, and it's been a few years ago. Then I know it got delayed to come out. So I really wanted to see how does it compare to the original and what I consider kind of retiring or eventually maybe selling my Duo RX based on how this one does. I've been playing with it a lot the last day or so, and for the most part, as a regular guy, without getting into a lot of the details about all the specs and all that, other videos I'm sure do that, I can just say it's a really good system, and I really like it. I like being able to finally hook up basically a TurboGrafx PC Engine to a modern HD TV. I like the modern features that come with this. You're able to have just little things that I like. You're able to have both a Hue card and a disc installed at the same time, and then you can kind of pick what you have here. I like this, for me, very simple, very big, easy to read operating system. That's very simple, and you have some basic things I'm not going to get into there, but you can change like the color from RGB to composite. You can look at a little library to see which games that you played, and you can do, if you're using, and I think you can do it on the regular controller too, but if you're using this controller, you can hold down and the home button, and you can take pictures of the games that you're playing. So I thought that was kind of neat. It does, I made a video about this a while ago, it does allow you to, obviously, and you assumed it would, to save the games, and it saves on an SD card that's back here. It saves the games just like you normally would in games like Newtopia. It saves your high score automatically. In games like Riot Zone, after you put in your initials there. So I really like that feature. It's going to eventually, there are updates you can do. I did like one update. You had to get the memory card out, and I did it on my computer and then put the memory card back in. Once I downloaded the firmware to it, and it just easily updated it to the system. But there are going to be updates that allow save states in the system. I don't know if anybody watching this could answer this question, but if this is replicating the hardware of a TurboGrafx or PC Engine, and it's playing the games right off the cards or right off the disc, then if you use a save state, does that not then make it software emulation? I was curious about that, because I thought if you're using the, FPGA, that you're playing right off the card or disc. But if you're using a save state, I didn't know how that could be. I don't know about all the technical stuff behind that. I was just curious how they were going to use save states if it's an FPGA system playing right off the cards. Like, how can you pull the data right in the middle of a game right off a card? That's just kind of a question from a guy who doesn't really know. I like that this system has the wireless controls. I've kind of gotten older and finally come around more to using wireless controllers. I've kind of been an old hat and using just the original controllers. Obviously, there might have been wireless controllers that I never got into for the old systems, but I really like the 8-bit DOE controllers. They work great with the games I played. I had a small issue with Street Fighter 2 where I had to figure out in one of the menus how to make this controller work with that game, but I got it working just fine. I have had one issue in one game, and that game was Riot Zone. In Riot Zone, and I read a guy in one of my videos commented this, and I found out it was the same for mine. My disc is in very good shape, very clean, but at the end of the first stage, like, the graphics are really scrambled when you fight the two boss characters, and I don't know if they'll do updates that might fix that. And I imagine there's probably other games and videos or the games that have maybe glitches or issues that they'll work on, and they'll do firmware updates. But that is something, I guess, to be aware of. I have not encountered that in any other games that I played so far that I've noticed, although I read in some other comments that people said some music was off and maybe things like that. So hopefully those things can get fixed. Nothing that bothers me as just kind of a regular gamer. The only gripe I really have, there might be other ones, but I'm not, I like the system, so I'm not really getting into too much of the nitpicking stuff. But one thing I wish they would have done different, and this is just me, the biggest complaint against the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx was one controller port. It only had one, so you couldn't put two. Now I know we're in the age of Bluetooth and wireless controllers, and you can hook up whatever it is, the 4 or 5 controllers that way. But why in the world could they have not just put one more controller port? Just for the old school guys who just want to plug in 2 controllers and not worry with the wireless. Instead, you'll still have to use, which is still good that I kept this, you'll still have to use one of the old multi-taps for the PC Engine just to get it. But I just thought that. I said, you know what? That was the biggest complaint. Could they have not just slipped in another port there? But that's maybe a minor gripe. But yeah, the game system, I'll just play one game here. I had a couple of them loaded up here. Loom is a really good game. Now, if your controller, let's see if you press that, that should cut it on there. That cuts it on once it's paired up. Loom is a really good game that I had just played recently and beaten recently on my Duo RX. Now, obviously, one advantage in 2023 for getting a new Duo or TurboGrafx that's HD like this is the saves will last a lot longer than they would on the Duo RX, where you had basically, you had to turn the system on because of that memory capacitor within every 2 weeks to a month. Otherwise, it would delete your save. So, with this SD card, you can not play something for a long time and still have your save there when you get back. But yeah, it's I'm really pleased as, again, just kind of a normal guy, not really too much into all of the nitty-gritty details. I just don't care quite that much. But if you're interested in an Analogue Duo and you like the TurboGrafx and PC Engine, or if you have a collection, or if you're interested in collecting, and I've kind of been doing that for a while, then I highly recommend this system. There are a lot of just absolutely great games on it. Again, I have had a lot of obscure and different retro game systems. The PC Engine and TurboGrafx has been my favorite, and that's probably because of the quality of the games. I always like just a simple 2-button controller, and you still got RPGs, and you got fighter games, and you got shooter games, and you got great pinball games, and it's just been a really good system. So anyway, guys, I'm sorry it's been kind of a rambling video. Again, not much of a review other than to say, from a regular tired dad, this system is worth your time and money. If you're able to do it, it's worth investing in, and the TurboGrafx PC Engine is a great library of games to collect for. The last thing I guess I would say, I'm not an EverDrive kind of guy. I know you can get those EverDrives that have like 100 TurboGrafx games on them, 1,000 games, or whatever it is, all the games, and put it on here. I like that this system is not one you can download a bunch of games that have 1 million. I always like playing where you just have, now in this case you could have 2, but you have one game at a time and that's it. So you just focus on that game and a CD or a cue card, and you don't have 1 million other games you're trying to get out of and you spend 5 minutes. I like systems that just play generally one game. Of course, in the case of the Duo, you play 2, but that's one last thing I would add there. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope everybody out there has a Merry Christmas and God bless.